'Twas the morning after the Thunderdome before. SummerSlam graded and SummerSlam WTF moments on the Cultaholic YouTube channel later today. But for now, here is your wrestling news. Future plans for Roman Reigns have been revealed. A Raw star calls out Brock Lesnar. And a major NXT Call Up on tonight's Raw. We'll talk about it momentarily. Going to be discussing SummerSlam from the off in this news video. No results, but some broad strokes on some of the events from the pay-per-view last night. If you haven't seen it yet, maybe pause here and come back a bit later on. Cool? Cool. Roman Reigns, eh? Whoo, that was a thing. Hey, didn't see that coming. That explains the tagline now. Roman Reigns made his presence felt at the end of SummerSlam last night, and WrestlingNews.co have shed a bit of light on what happened backstage and what the plans are going forward for the big dog. Now, it's the first time we've seen Roman Reigns in a WWE ring since before WrestleMania. As Roman is immunocompromised, he made the decision to step away from Performance Center taping, saying that he felt uncomfortable being there. Now, I don't know what's changed. Obviously, we're not in the Performance Center anymore, but there's still a pandemic on. Be that as it may, Roman Reigns is back. And WrestlingNews.co say that only a few people within the company knew that Roman was making an appearance last night. There were even people within the creative team who had no idea that Roman was going to be there. I guess the less people know, the less chance there is of us seeing it coming, and thus negating the tagline for SummerSlam. WrestlingNews.co had revealed earlier on in the week, though, that there was some new merchandise being created for Roman Reigns. The one that he wore last night at the pay-per-view. Wreck everyone and leave. Sounds like my Auntie Belinda at a wedding. And also, it's a statement on the future plans for Roman Reigns. WrestlingNews.co go on to say that Vince McMahon wants to give Roman Reigns a bit of an edge going forward. Just not so much make him a heel or a face, but just make him a little bit angrier. In fact, the Roman Reigns that we are going to see play out on television going forward is the Roman Reigns that we were going to see had COVID-19 not happened, i.e. Roman Reigns just marching through the roster, really regardless of whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, just being a bit edgier and a bit angrier. With that being said, I would not be surprised if Roman Reigns ends up in a Universal Championship match this Sunday at Payback, and consequently picks up the Universal title in the process and picks up pretty much where he left off. One guy that we haven't seen since the pandemic took hold is Brock Lesnar. His last appearance was at WrestleMania 36 and hasn't really expressed any mad desire to be back in WWE until things are a bit more back to normal. One guy is keen to get it on with him when that time does come, and that is Bobby Lashley. Now, Bobby has called out Brock on quite a few occasions, and we've talked about it here in the news in the past, but there was a fresh challenge thrown down last night via Twitter. So a clip from The Bump on Sunday featured Bobby Lashley calling out anybody on the Raw roster to a fight on Raw Underground. Then somebody tweeted Bobby Lashley, I think it was Entitled Fan 454, who said, "Won't call out Brock Lesnar though." Whoa! Hey, got your number, Bob. Got your number. Lashley responded to this by saying, "This guy says I won't call you out, Brock Lesnar. This is me calling you out." So once again, Bob wants a piece of Brock. And very much like how Roman Reigns is going to pick up where he left off before the virus destroyed the planet, Bobby Lashley, I think, is going to do the same. He's like, hey, I was calling out Brock Lesnar before the world went a bit weird, so let's carry on with that. Let's do some more of that. One of the announcements over the weekend was the return of NXT UK. It was revealed during TakeOver 30 that September 17th will see a brand new episode of NXT UK television. We haven't seen that since the pandemic. It's just been like best ofs and interviews with people and just lots of chances to go up at how lovely Andy Shepherd's house is. He's got lovely decor, that Andy Shepherd. But we're getting new shows. Got a few details on how that is going to play out. NXT UK is going to emanate from the BT Sports Studios. Now, if you remember earlier on in the year when WWE and BT Sport did that press media day thing and they had some wrestling matches for the press, they film those at the BT Sports Studios. Really nice little studio setup there. There's been boxing matches there during the pandemic as well. So it's been used and it's nice, and I think it'll look really nice when NXT UK get in there. We also understand that the NXT UK roster are on their way to, or already in London today. They've got a week ahead of COVID testing and going through protocol and safety procedure before they begin taping either end of this week or next week. Some brand new episodes of NXT UK on the way. Now, the world has changed quite a bit since the last proper NXT UK show, especially in the British wrestling world. It's an understatement to say that it's been shook to its foundation following the speaking out movement. Consequently, as a result of the movement, Travis Banks and El Ligero were let go from NXT UK. And it is a discussion that continues on, and I kind of wanted to highlight it once again. Just because it's not trending on timelines doesn't mean the speaking out movement has stopped and everything has been fixed. There is still plenty of conversations that need to be had in wrestling. Over on AEW, we are getting ready for the first ever Mimosa Mayhem match between Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Jericho on his live stream talked about what this match entailed and where the inspiration came from. He said, "It's something that we came up with where you can only win by pinfall, submission, or by basically throwing somebody into a vat of mimosa. I can't wait for you guys to see what we've come up with. I got the idea coming from one of those old Onita exploding barbed wire death match sort of things. And a lot of suspense, kind of like a battle royal, getting thrown out, holding onto the ropes, all of that sort of thing. Of course, if someone is able to throw the other into the pit or the vat or the container of mimosa, then they are the winner. It makes perfect sense for the storyline of this feud with Orange Cassidy. Obviously, he's orange juice and I'm a little bit of the bubbly, the champagne. We were just thinking of some cool ideas, and that just popped into my head, and I thought, wouldn't it be a kind of fun match that we have a lot of twists and turns in and false finishes and that sort of thing to it? Isn't Orange Cassidy and a little bit of the bubbly, does that not make Bucks Fizz? Could we not have had a Bucks Fizz battle royal? Is that just me? That's Bucks Fizz, isn't it? Orange juice and champagne. Bucks Fizz. Making your mind up. And finally, a major NXT call-up goes down tonight on Monday Night Raw. Sing it with me, don't you forget about Keith. Big Keithy boy making it to Monday nights. So they announced at SummerSlam that Keith Lee is making his Monday Night Raw debut tonight, and this is a very exciting development, and I think something that's been in the works for a long time. His title reign in NXT, let's talk about it. The NXT Championship run that Keith Lee had wasn't the most memorable, and this is a guy who loves the bones off of Keith Lee. But I feel like, and many of the people online have echoed this as well, this is more just a case of being able to call up Keith Lee as a former NXT champion. So you can say, former NXT champion Keith Lee. So I do believe the plan has forever been to make Keith a part of Monday Night Raw. I think this has been in the works since November last year, when you had him and Roman Reigns squaring off at the end of that Survivor Series match. I think that's then when they knew, oh, here's the guy. And they wanted to keep him in NXT for a little while longer, season him, give him some accolades, give him some big title wins, headline a takeover. He's done all that. So him losing to Karrion Kross on Saturday, I'm all right with, because now it's time for Keith to make his way up to Monday Night Raw, or across, depending on how you see it. Now, there is the concern that he won't transition well. And that's nothing to do with Keith Lee. Keith Lee is a talented MFer. But WWE has a history of kind of scuppering these call-ups from NXT. I don't think they will scupper Keith Lee. I don't think they will. I don't think Keith will have a bad time on Monday Night Raw. I genuinely hope that I'm right on this one. I love doing Raw Graded, and I want to watch Keith thrive on Raw Graded and rather than survive. I want Keith to thrive on Raw as opposed to survive. Let's see how that goes from tonight. I'm excited for Keith Lee to be a part of Monday Night Raw. Go on, Keith. Don't you? You know the rest. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.